Hi, my name is Massimiliano Di Bitonto, one of the authors of this paper. I'm sorry of not being there with you, but I would like to give my contribution to the conference presenting this work. That is called the IoT Design Deck 2.0, improving the tool for the co-design of connected products. We started this work to face the new challenges that the new technological scenario of the Internet of Things, but also of the artificial intelligence and the machine learning raised for user experience designer and service designer, but not only for them. Because designing a connected product or an omnichannel service is a very complex activity that requires multidisciplinary and specific competencies. So it's likely to require multidisciplinary teams and having people with different background working together. Moreover, connecting object is not only a problem of technologies, but is designing relations and not only interactions between people and objects. And we have to put together the physical world and the digital world, taking the bugs of the digital world inside the physical world. Then Internet of Things is pervasive and is ubiquitous. And when you start to connect objects, you start also to creating ecosystems and services. So you cannot think to a connected object without thinking about the services that is behind them. So we have a high level of complexity. So, to face these new challenges, we designed the IoT Design Deck, a methods and a set of tools meant to be used by a multidisciplinary team, but also by an individual for the co-design of connected products and omnichannel services. Because we recognize the need of create a common language and a common knowledge base inside the multidisciplinary teams to help people working together, but also to involve users that should not know the specific term used by designers, but also by technologists. Then the need to for the team to focus on the user experience aspect rather than on technological ones. Because before of thinking about connecting an object with Bluetooth, we should think what Bluetooth means in terms of user experience. And then there is also the need to discover the and use the potential of the Internet of Things technologies. So designers should not become engineers, but should have some simple information that allows them to imagine new services and products. And then also to have a service-oriented approach, as Internet of Things is mostly related with service design. And then, of course, accelerating design process. That's one of the universal needs that we have as designer. So the IoT Design Deck is meant to cover all the phases of the design life cycle, from the idea generation through the research and the design of different solutions to the prototyping and testing also. And the toolkit is composed mainly by cards that we can divide into fillable, that are to be filled by the user to synthesize a concept, like making personas, describing context, and so on, and reference cards that are like a library to look up for technological tips, threats to be aware, inspiration, research methods, and so on. And we have also some boards, some canvases that are used to help the user to organize cards. Our work started 2 years ago when we realized the first version of the method. And so we decided to test it, doing at the beginning some qualitative testing during co-design workshop with user experience students and with professionals. And so we adapted the Nielsen heuristic to test the usability and the effectiveness of the methods and the tools, with a specific focus on self-explanation and understandability, effectiveness and ease of use, and the ability to facilitate the group interaction. Then we had the chance to test it with experts during the IoT the Action Expert workshops organized in 2018 by the Chemnitz University of Technologies. And we had the chance to compare and test our methods with other co-design methods meant for the IoT. And it was really challenging. It helped us a lot to improve our methods. So after the test, we were able to point out some weaknesses and strengths of the method. A minus was for self-explanation and understandability, because even if the single elements of the methods were clear, the overall process were not. And this is mainly because we were always being present as a facilitator, but participants suggested to create an handbook to guide through the different steps without the need of facilitators. About effectiveness and ease of use, participants found the dimension of the card useful and also the limited space as an help to be concise. But someone didn't use the field as expected, so we wanted to avoid the waste of space on cards. And in relation with group interaction, the tool was considered useful for generating, detailing, presenting, and discussing ideas with the others. After the tests, we decided to redesign the method in order to fix the bugs that we have seen. And we started from self-explanation. So we decided to redesign the whole process, making it simpler and clearer. And we also created a quick start guide, an handbook to guide an individual or a group to the use of the method, even without the presence of a facilitator. Then we redesigned the cards and the canvases, fixing the labeling problems for the self-explanation problem, and creating new boards to support the new process. We will see it later. And then also we updated the content of the cards according to new research outcomes and new technological trends. So in order to simplify the process, we decided to get inspired by the double diamond, having 4 phases, 2 of diverging and 2 of converging, going from the problem through research, making insights, defining the problem, creating different solutions, and prototyping and testing before, of course, delivering a solution. So we revised and redesigned the UX card, the fillable cards that we use to synthesize the main elements used in the user experience design and service design process, with our personas to represent the kind of people that will use your products, function to describe the features and functionality of the products, context to point out the context in which the action will take place. That is very important in an Internet of Things scenario that could have a lot of context of use. Of course, here we have the touchpoint cards that could be not useful in for the design of a mobile app, but in this case we can design many touch points like an interactive toaster, an ATM, a mobile device, a wearable device. And we introduce also the micro moment card, taking inspiration from the research of Google. as it allows us to have a more detailed description of the very precise moment in which the users decide to do something or take some actions. Then we changed also the inspiration cards that are part of the reference cards. We have three kind of decks: the touch points, a list of touch points, wearable, mobile, app, ATM, and so on, with a focus on pros and cons to inspire the team. Then we have input and output with a series of input and output technologies and devices, but pointing out on the effect on the user experience rather than on technology. So, for example, I would suggest that using a touchscreen in a wet environment could be tricky, and so it's preferable to use some other technology. Then, as part of inspiration cards are the threads that focus on the elements that are potentially critical for the user experience of a connected product. For example, privacy, safety, security. What happens if my medical device encounter an area with no mobile connection or runs out of battery? And then the tools that our cards use it to help the teams with different methods and techniques. We have tools for inspiration to do idea generation. We have tools for research, so simple research methods as quick ethnography and so on. We have tools for sorting ideas. As after you do idea generation, you need to sort ideas, and tool for testing ideas, so like quick usability methods, cafe test, and so on. We designed also a set of canvases, tools to use designer during different phases of the process. So we have the brainstorming canvas that is useful during the idea generation phase to create a lot of ideas. Then we have the problem discovery canvas to explore the problem, but also to point out and fix the results of the research phase. And then the concept definition canvas that helps the team to state the value proposition of the project, that of course could be changed during. As we said, we created the Quick Start Guide, an handbook that helps people to run co-design workshop by themselves, with a clear description on what you need, what you will do, and the steps that you have to take. Of course, you can customize it if you are an experienced designer, and it could be only an inspiration. And then this is an example of the real use of the method, in which you use the filler cards and the inspiration cards to imagine how your system will be. And inside the Quick Start Guide, we give some suggestions on how to use the card to visualize a customer journey map, a system map, a service blueprint, or a touchpoint matrix. This is one of the strengths of the methods, that you can rearrange the cards until you are satisfied of your system. Then you can take a picture, and you will have the documentation of your design process. As future works, as the method is in constant evolution, we are planning another test campaign, but we want also to create a domain-specific deck of cards, for example, for smart homes, smart cities, e-health, and so on, in collaboration with domain experts. And so we would appreciate your questions and comments And we invite you to visit our website and to request the evaluation deck and let us know your opinion and comments. Thank you for your attention.